You know, that time conversion across the world. Alright, this is going to be Circuit Breaker Starbow Ladder Cup number 3. This is the semifinals you guys are currently watching. This is game number 2. Spawning in the top right corner of the map, though, is going to be the pink Zerg player, Franscar.
And in the top left, as the blue Protoss, it is ButtPluggen.
I promise I'm not intentionally giving you the name. It's just we happen to be spawning on Franscar, so you can blame StarCraft 2 for that.
I think you are.
Anyways, we did see cheese out of ButtPluggen, so it's kind of hard to evaluate how his mid game's gonna go. A lot of times, like, you can kind of be like, oh, well, we've seen this player plenty of times in the past, but I think it was Zombie got pointed out last time we saw this guy too. He also went for 2 gates, but the difference was he lost instead of 1. So now we get to actually see him play perhaps a little bit, I guess, more realistic.
I guess so.
Of course, it's not going to be easy, and I do want to remind everybody, the lower half of the brackets, the semifinals match we'll be casting next will be Al Bowser versus Jade from My Insanity. So there will be a PvP other semifinals. Winner of this series will dictate what the finals ends up being. Again, by default, it could potentially be a PvP, but as witnessed here by Franscar, there are some players who do not like playing the mirror matchups in Starbow. So Franscar opted to play Zerg instead of Protoss, and vice versa. For Zerg versus Protoss versus Protoss, would rather play the opposites.
Yep. What is that, a drone? Is that just a drone? It's just a drone. It's
Yeah.
fine.
He's doing the scout this time, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like, this is completely... I mean, he's scouted within his own base. He's seen there's no proxies, so the drone scout, I think, is just diligence, or due diligence at this point, but he's not going to reveal too much. The Cybercore on the way, gas, it's all pretty standard stuff out of ButtPluggen.
Well, it is a gateway expand, and that's what we're talking about. Is it's a lot more rare in Starbow than it is in StarCraft 2.
Oh, is this the guy that built incredibly vertically, where he just built, like, all the pylons on one side and all the gateways on the other? Or maybe I think it was someone different.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, though. On, like, was it Texas?
Yeah, I remember this was like a really weird Protoss build placement. It's just a giant funnel. And was it the goons got stuck, right? Remember? And the 2 dragoons, whatever. Anyways, backing out of this with the drone. Doesn't want to risk losing it or anything. Probe coming across the map for ButtPluggen to do some scouting too, but this is going to be some links to intercept. Circuit Breaker is kind of a hard map to take a third on too. I mean, you could technically say that about most Starbow maps because of the way they spread them out, but I think on this one especially, no matter where you take it, it's going to be fairly exposed.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Of course, we saw last time our Zerg player just went ahead and got the outlying expansions, which is something I think and hope that Franscar will do. Actually, he's getting a very fast 3rd macro hatch, so he's beginning he saw our last Zerg just get 3rds, you know, at the normal space. This time, kind of doing a wall off as well.
It's interesting. I actually really like this because it creates a much more or not much more, but a harder choke to get through. But it's also going to give him all that production that's lacked so much in the early game. And yeah, it looks like ButtPluggen is going to do that. That's the thing I was talking about before. But Twilight Council coming up so early is not unheard of, but it's usually behind an expansion. Still one basing it for the time being.
Yeah. So if he looks to go into like a speed lot all in or something like that, or it's a 4-gate speed lot. Yeah.
I guess for now. I mean, it's not incorrect, but stalkers that are coming out right now. I mean, Blink's gonna be great mobility-wise. He might just be expecting a bust. Yeah, you know what? That's actually not a bad prediction. You know, you're playing Protoss, you just cheese somebody. You kind of expected them to all in you as like punishment for the game number 2, but it's not gonna be the case. Franscar's not going for that Hydralisk bust or all in for that matter. He's getting spine cars home at home. What am I saying? Down at home. He's getting ready for defense, and this is something I really like because again, it's something that's been somewhat lacking today as far as what players have been dedicating to. But the stalkers coming across the map are a little bit of a worry. This macro hatchery is exposed and probably will go down.
He's I don't know. I think he should just wall off. He's really afraid that he's gonna do an attack. Yeah. Okay. Pretty much walls off right there.
It doesn't have the range to cover the hatchery though, and I mean the hatchery's got a lot of health. It's not going to go down fast, but
I would prefer him targeting the hatchery than just trying to go in and kill him. Actually, look, yeah, he's even upset that it's there.
Yeah, so I guess expected to be able to go through a little bit more easily, but more stalkers coming up behind us. Let's not forget they can always blink towards the main. Actually, I think there's enough room up here, top left corner of the base, but even so, with lots of lings out, he should be able to surround them pretty quickly. Metabolic boost might be a little bit off, but still, he's got, again, that sort of just massive units.
Can you blink up there?
Not
Oh my
from
God.
not from where he is here, but I think if he goes northwards a little bit, you can, because you can drop up there.
There's,
Looks like- yeah,
there's
he's-
billboards in the way. How does this make sense? Oh my God.
Doesn't need to blink. How is this fair? Doesn't matter. Blink. But okay, Link's revealed what's going on, but Franscar already had spine cars coming down. So really setting himself for a good hold versus an all-in. Still has spine cars at the front of his base too, so not like a counterattack or a secondary attack will catch him off guard. Does have to be careful, the metabolic boost is done, but there's still a lot of Blink Stalkers to deal with. And he's not going to quite get the full surround he wants with that back against the wall. Blinking backwards a little bit more, if only there were some spine cars to catch these. He's now repositioning them, of course, but that means his front is now a little bit exposed, and we may have units going to try and flood in. But Link's going to try and hold them in place, blinking away once again. There's spine cars up here, but not quite in range. Oh, this has got to be frustrating to deal with. Hasn't lost a single stalker so far, worth noting. ButtPluggen now coming from the left side with more stalkers. All the Links have been kind of just thrown away for naught at this point. Really needs to start getting those Hydralisks out. There's just no way for him to use these Links effectively right now. There's too many stalkers.
It looks like he's given up on the idea of getting any Hydralisk out. You know, his economy's really not that great. He's just trying to waste a lot on Lings. Trying to get lurkers, which I guess he gets one lurker. There's no detection.
But even then, there's how's he gonna buy time to get lurkers out?
Yeah, right. And even if he gets one lurker and there's no detection, it takes forever to kill the army. He's gonna kill and get a detection. It's not gonna matter.
National base about to be broken while this goes on. Can we just think about how long that took that spine car to reburrow there? Jesus. Still
He
though,
didn't get that buff in 2012.
no, apparently not. Jones gonna be pulled out of this. I mean, you can still play off of one base because his opponent's on one base. This isn't like regular StarCraft in that regard, but I don't know. It's not easy from here, that's for sure. Taking so many losses, he loses 2 hatcheries, loses all of his Zerglings. Some more Overlord's gonna go down. Actually, this will supply block him. Oh god. Yeah, I think a drone pull might be it before it's game.
Yeah. What a disappointing way to go out, man. This is some,
This is some BS.
you know, right?
I like
Yeah,
how-
stalkers.
Like, stalkers are supposed to be weak and support units. I guess that buff they gave them recently, though, was just enough to make them a little bit too strong. Either way, he's still coming in here with the spine crawlers, unable to quite hold off this defense. Again, like, maybe if the Hydra stun was earlier, if it wasn't Lings, you could see a lot of what ifs, but in the end, ButtPluggen takes it. I mean,